everyone, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the ultimate bookshelf organization video. I am so excited. I've been staring at my bookshelves for a while now, thinking how I want to rearrange them. Like, I just don't like the way they look right now, and I think I can do a lot better. I know that I did a video like this a while ago, so sorry to anybody that liked the finished product of that video, because that's what the bookshelves look like right now, but I just don't like them anymore. And I feel like my taste in books have also changed. So there are some books that are on the top shelves that I would not put on the top shelves now because I found new favorites, or I just don't like them as much as I used to. So I feel like there is a lot that can be done, and I'm excited to bring you along for everything. So before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and we'll just get right into the whole process, because first things first, we have to take down every single book, which is going to be a challenge. I've done it before. I've done it many times before, and I'll do it again. I will be doing it for the rest of my life, I fear. But I don't know, like, it's just, I feel like it's going to take hours, and I don't have that time. So we're going to try and go as fast as humanly possible and take down absolutely everything and then sort it out on the floor. I feel like that's the best way to go about doing it from my experience in the past, trying to organize these bookshelves. And then once they're all sorted into piles and groups, I'll figure out how I want to sort them. Don't know anything about that yet because I have not thought that far ahead, to be honest. And then once they're sorted in the piles and everything, I will put them back up and film absolutely all of it for you. I'll probably be doing like music montages in between the talking clips. So I'll obviously like show you the first look at the bookshelf before we get into it and before I start changing it, and then I'll show you the end product, obviously, because that's the whole reason you're watching this video, I'm assuming. And I'll also talk to you about some of the books that are on my shelves in case you're wondering if I would recommend some of them. I have a ton of other book videos on my channel already, so if you're wondering about like really specific books on my shelves, I've probably talked about it before, but I'll try and talk about some of the new books that I've read recently that I really would recommend to people and where my tastes have changed. I feel like that's the most interesting thing, and I don't know why, I just feel like the most people will be interested in seeing that, because if you've been watching me for a while, you know how different my book taste used to be. I feel like I used to read like solely romance books, and now I've kind of not like stepped away from that, because I still like a good romance every now and then, but I like fantasy, literary fiction, deeper books, if you know what I mean, not just like, you know, a fluffy romance. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want anybody to come at me for that, because I enjoy that from time to time, but if it's every single book I'm reading, that is going to get a little bit boring for me, and I'm going to want something with a little bit more substance. But obviously a palate cleanser book in between, like a fluffy little romance, is needed sometimes. But anyway, let's just get right into it. I will stop yapping and just show you. This is what we're currently working with, and that's what it looks like all the way down, and then I'll do some close-ups. I also have a TBR cart, and these are all books that I'm trying to sell down on the bottom shelf, and then these up here are either books that I have yet to read, like books on my TBR, or books that I wanted to reread, or books that I want to lend to somebody else so that they can borrow them. But I have no idea how to sort these, so this will probably be the very last step, just because I don't know what to do with them. Top shelf has a Taylor Swift calendar that I never look at. As you can see, it's stuck in February. Then obviously we have the vines and the lights that I never turn on, and then all my camera equipment and stuff like that, and my 2025 vision board. I am scared to look at it because I fear nothing has happened, but it's okay. Then over here is the very top shelf. I have the Inheritance Game series on here, and I still love these books, but this is what I'm talking about when I say I think it's time for a little bit of a change. And then the next shelf is actually my favorite series of all time, Magnolia Parks, and all of the books that Jessa has written. I am just obsessed with her books, and specifically the Magnolia Park series. So this will be staying. It just might move to the priority shelf because I haven't touched these books in a very long time. Then down here is the fantasy shelves. Yeah, a lot of these books I used to love and I have not thought about. And then over here is the romance books. I just love seeing these. I feel like the covers are so bright, and like the spines and just everything is so beautiful and colorful. And then I also have my annotation supplies, like my tabs, pens, more tabs, all of that stuff over here. Then down here, Throne of Glass series, Shatter Me series, which I don't know why they're on the same shelf. That's another thing that's bothering me. I feel like everything needs a home, because that is fantasy, that is dystopian, and this is fantasy and one of my favorite series ever that I just recently finished reading. I'll link that reading vlog down below if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, because I did a whole deep dive into that series. these do not have a home. I just kind of like stuck them on here because I don't have room. That's another issue. Some space needs to be freed up, definitely. And then down here I have mysteries, thrillers, literary fiction, the Hunger Games, the selection. It's just very weirdly sorted and I kind of hate it. Then there are all the books that I loved when I was little, not little, but like, you know, younger. I don't know what to do with them because I don't want to get rid of them, but I also don't really want to display them because it's like, yes, that was a huge part of my reading journey, but like not currently. So we'll figure out what to do with those. And then I have my actual like ride or die literary fiction books and just like random books that have impacted me greatly. And then my memoirs are kind of taking up this part of the bookshelf. And then there are some books on there that are not memoirs, like the Alice 6 and the Alice Paradox. No idea where to put them. So that's a problem for later. And then I randomly stuck The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hilderbrand over here because again, there's no room for specific books like that. And then down here I have my little whiteboard that I use for keeping track of who is borrowing my books and what I am borrowing and from whom. And then again, more of my childhood series, like fantasy series, Christmas books that I have not thought about in a really long time. My vintage, and by vintage I mean my mom bought it when she was younger, Gilmore Girls collection, which I don't know what to do with, so I just stuck it on my bookshelf. And then 2 little mason jars that I had lying around that I put bookmarks in. And okay, this is where we get a little bit crazy. So these are all the books that I used to read and used to be obsessed with when I was like really little. Not really little, but you know what I mean, like young. And I just hate the way the spines look. I feel like they look very childish, so I just like turn them around because I don't want to get rid of them. So I might end up doing more of like a stacked on their side type of thing all the way up and kind of fit all of these and then wherever, yeah, like these childhood books all on one shelf, just kind of like filling the entire shelf from top to bottom. I feel like that could work. It looks fine, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's very colorful. I just feel like my issue is the sorting. It just doesn't make sense in my brain the way that I want it to. Books quite literally covering the floor, so I can't walk, but we're still gonna persevere, don't worry. Why did I decide to do this today? I'm gonna have to go out of order. There is actually no way that I can get the rest of those books up there, so I need to sort that whole mess. so this is the current state of things. I officially took all of the books off the shelves and I've tried to sort them into piles, but it wasn't really working. I fear I'm going to need to put some of them back on the shelf before I can like continue, because it's just a lot, and I feel like once I get some on the shelf it'll be so much easier. But I just took a thumbnail, I sat in the middle of them, it was kind of funny, and I just I can't believe this is one of my hobbies. Like, this is just crazy to me. This spot at the very top is for Magnolia Parks and the Jessa Hastings books, so that's what I'm gonna start with. I hope you can hear me, I'm very far away. This is so funny to me that I just have this on my fantasy shelf. Like, don't play. This soap reminds me of these books. Like, it smells exactly like the books to me, which I know sounds really weird. I think this shelf I'm gonna do fantasy, but like the fantasy that I really like. So Throne of Glass, Powerless series. Any others I see. Oh, One Dark Window. Love those books. Okay, here's the finished product. I'm so proud of how this turned out. I think it is going to work out so much better now, and it's just so much more organized and separated the way that I wanted it to be. So again, top shelf is all the Jessa Hastings books, then some of my favorite fantasy books with room for the collection to grow, don't worry. Then here are the literary fictions and romances and memoirs, just like basically a bunch of my favorite books, and then more fantasy and dystopian. I also put the folklore candle in between, which I thought was kind of cute because fantasy, dystopian, I don't know, it's kind of giving like folklore vibes. Not the album, but just like the word. I tried to play around with stacking and depth, as I mentioned before. That's why they're so different on each shelf. I wanted to create more dimension and depth. Obviously, I've said depth like 5 times now. Then I have mysteries, thrillers, my annotation supplies in the middle, and the Cruel Prince series. Oh, these are out of order. I swear I'm not a fake fan. Then the fantasy that I used to read when I was younger, and all of my like younger kid books and the Christmas books that I don't really touch anymore, unfortunately. The Inheritance Game series has its own shelf still. I have all of the stuff that I've been given by friends. Then down here I have just some like miscellaneous romance books and the Heartstopper series, and that is the final bookshelf reveal. I am so happy with it. It feels so much cleaner, so much more organized, and I think it's actually a good system where I have room to grow my collection, but I'm also able to make sense of it. Like when I'm looking for a certain book, I can go directly to a specific section, which I really love. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video and organizing my bookshelves with me. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy watching, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I'm trying to get back into my book content era. I feel like I kind of fell off with my book content, but hopefully into the new year it'll be back, so stay tuned for that, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.